B. McKissick Jr., and William Brawley. I now call for a hearing in docket numbers E-2 sub 1349 and EC-67 sub 57, which is the February 7, 2025 joint application of Duke Energy Progress that I'll refer to going forward as DEP, and the North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation that I will refer to as the NCEMC, for a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity, or CPCN, to construct a 1,360 megawatt combined cycle combustion turbine generating facility, or CC, in Person County, North Carolina. Before we proceed further, and as required by the State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the Commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire at this time as to whether any commissioner has any known conflict of interest with respect to this docket.
No.
No.
Let the record reflect that no such conflicts were identified. The public staff, which represents the using and consuming public, has been made a party to this proceeding in accordance with North Carolina General Statute Section 62-15D. The public staff is the state's consumer advocate. On March 14, 2025, the Commission issued a procedural order that, in pertinent part, scheduled 2 public witnesses hearings for the purpose of receiving public witness testimony concerning the CPCN application, including this evening's hearing. In addition to the public witness hearings, the Commission will receive expert witness testimony and other evidence from interested parties, including the public staff, during an expert witness hearing scheduled for July 22, 2025. I now call upon counsel for the parties to introduce themselves for purposes of the record, beginning with DEP and NCEMC.
Good evening, Chair Kemmerite, Commissioners McKissick and Brawley. My name is Mason Manny. I'm an attorney with the law firm of McGuire Woods, LLP. And I'm here tonight on behalf of the joint applicant, Duke Energy Progress.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chair Kemmerite, Commissioners. Tim Dodge here appearing on behalf of North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation.
Good evening.
Good evening. This is Will Freeman, Chair, on behalf of the using and consuming public through the public staff.
Good evening. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to hear from interested members of the public regarding the pending CPCN application. Each public witness who is signed up tonight with the public staff will be given an opportunity to testify upon affirmation, should he or she wish to do so. We appreciate you being here to voice your views on this matter, and we welcome your testimony and want to hear from you. In order to facilitate this remote hearing, we will use the following procedures. Number 1, in conducting this hearing, the Commission functions in a judicial capacity. We will follow, for the most part, the North Carolina Rules of Civil Procedure and Rules of Evidence. Because the Commission is functioning as a court, I cannot respond to your questions. Rather, we are here to receive evidence from you all in the form of your testimony. In addition, for these reasons, if you choose to testify this evening, you will be asked to affirm the truthfulness of your testimony. Public witnesses will appear by audio connection only. Commissioners and attorney will appear by video and audio connection. Any public witnesses that wish to view a live video of the proceeding may access it on a computer via YouTube, which is linked from the Commission's home webpage. Number 3, public witnesses will be called on to testify in the order in which witnesses have been called. When it is your turn to speak, the WebEx administrator will send you a request to unmute. You will hear the message, and the message is, you are being asked to unmute yourself. To unmute, press 6. It is important that you listen for this message. Once you unmute yourself, please state your name to signify that you are unmuted. At that time, I will ask you to provide an affirmation as to the truthfulness of your testimony. Once you have provided the affirmation, the attorney for the public staff will ask you a series of questions, and then you will be allowed to testify. To ensure that all witnesses have an opportunity to participate this evening, witnesses will be limited to 3 minutes to testify, and I will be keeping track of the 3 minutes, and I will let you know when the 3 minutes has ended. Number 4, counsel for any party may ask questions of the witnesses. In addition, I will have the opportunity to ask questions. This means that if you provide testimony, you may be asked questions by the attorneys or by the commissioners. However, as a reminder, the commission and the attorneys for the parties are not allowed to respond to your questions during this hearing. And with that, we are ready to begin. Before we begin, are there any preliminary matters that need to be addressed? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. McCoy, will you please unmute the first witness?
Hello, call. Are you there?
Sophie Loeb.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Ms. Loeb, can you please tell us your name and address and who your electric service provider is?
Sophie Loeb, 28 Cub Road, Asheville, North Carolina, 28806 DEC.
And if you please make your statement.
My name is Sophie Loeb, and I'm here on behalf of the Center for Progressive Reform. The Center is a nonprofit that harnesses the power of law and public policy to create a responsive government, a healthy environment, and a just society. I'm here today in opposition to Duke Energy Progress and North Carolina Electric Membership Corporation's application for a CPCN to construct a natural gas-fueled combined cycle electric generating facility in Person County. It should be hard for even the savviest of energy executives to successfully argue that the widespread burning of natural gas from these plants is in the public interest. They will release nitrogen oxides, methane, and carbon dioxide, which are linked to asthma, lung disease, and other problems for human health, in addition to contributing to climate change. Duke Energy says bills will rise if we don't build these plants, a claim that is seriously suspect if you look closely at how they've managed our rates under the status quo. The company claims that building more natural gas is the least cost option to achieving the state's climate goals, but independent research debunks this claim. Building solar and storage resources without additional natural gas would yield $8 to $12 billion in electricity savings by 2030 and $18 to $23 billion in savings by 2050. Under their watch, our bills are already astronomical and rising, and much of their rise has to do with the volatility price of methane gas. The prospect of future increases to our already exorbitant rates is dreadfully real and will most acutely impact folks already struggling to keep the lights on. In 2023, the Utilities Commission approved Duke's request for rate increases to the tune of 15% for Duke Energy Carolina's customers and 11% for Duke Energy Progress customers. According to Duke Energy, these increases are necessary to maintain strong progress for building a cleaner, more reliable energy future for our North Carolina customers while continuing to meet the energy demands of a growing and economically vibrant region. This is ironic. The Environmental Defense Fund recently released an analysis highlighting the connection between rising electricity rates and fuel prices. EDF found that in the Duke Energy Carolina service territory, increases in fuel costs account for roughly 67% of the increase in residential retail rates since 2017. In the face of these environmentally damaging, costly methane gas plants and questions of public interest, whose interests are actually being served by these plants is clearly up for debate. You must reject the CPCN. This polluting and costly gas plant will only add to our astronomically rising bills and continue to hurt our state's already overburdened residents. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions from DEP or NCEMC for the witness?
No questions from DEP, Chair. Thank you.
No questions from NCEMC.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public staff?
No questions.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you for being for appearing for this public witness hearing, and we appreciate your testimony.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. McCoy, can you unmute the next witness, please?
Michelle Carter.
Ms. Carter, do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ms. Carter, if you could please provide us with your name and address.
Yes, my name is Michelle. My preferred name is Mish. My last name is Carter. My address is 112 Snow Crest Trail, Durham, North Carolina, 27707, and I am a Duke Energy customer.
And how do you spell your preferred name?
MEECH. Thank you for asking.
And if you could tell us, did you say Duke Energy? Tell me your
I
provider.
believe I'm a Progress customer.
Okay, if you'd please make your statement.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Carter, and I'm speaking on behalf of the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters. While writing my statement today, I truly wondered what the point of coming here to speak was, since this plant has been essentially greenlit by the 2024 Carbon Plan Integrated Resource Plan, also called CPIRP. Additionally, the North Carolina Utilities Commission is suffering from an extreme case of regulatory capture, wherein they have approved almost every single request Duke Energy has made over the last few years. Nevertheless, I will spend my 3 minutes advocating for the communities of this state and against a multi-billion-dollar corporation who has continually endangered those same communities. I oppose this application, which does not pose the question of whether North Carolinians will be paying for power they need. Instead, this second proposed gas plant at Roxborough directly asks the Utilities Commission whether they will allow North Carolinians to bankroll the expansion of artificial intelligence without receiving any tangible benefits. This gas plant is not in the public interest of North Carolinians due to price volatility, health concerns, and the strong potential for stranded assets. First, the price of methane gas is notably volatile when compared to other sources of energy, and its price can be heavily affected by tariffs, which we're seeing now. Fluctuated prices of methane gas have and will continue to cause bills to increase. Around the time Duke got initial approval for this plant through the CPIRP, it was estimated that a plant of this size would generally cost around $2 billion. Recent prices from other utilities, however, would actually put this plant at $3.26 billion, meaning that plant could be even more expensive than anticipated. Renewable sources like wind, solar, paired with battery storage, are cost competitive or cheaper than fossil fuel alternatives in many regions. Investing in a gas plant now locks our state into decades of emissions and financial liability at a time when other utilities, businesses, and regulators are planning for a decarbonized grid. Conversion of gas plants and accompanying pipelines to hydrogen fuel is also virtually impossible. The U.S. Department of Energy has even found that methane gas plants could only support 10 to 20% hydrogen blended fuel before significant infrastructure changes are required. There is almost no possibility that this gas plant will be used to its full potential over its service term, since House Bill 951 states that North Carolina should be carbon neutral in the power sector by 2050. Building this gas plant is economically short-sighted and environmentally irresponsible. If this project aims to address energy demand or grid reliability, those goals can and should be met with investments in local clean energy generation, energy efficiency, and demand management. These solutions provide cleaner power, create local jobs, and retain energy dollars within Person County. Therefore, I urge the NCEMC to reject the CPCN, and thank you for your time.
Carter, thank you for your testimony. Let me check to see if there's any questions from, first from DEP.
No questions, Chair Kimmerer. Thank you.
Are there any questions from NCEMC?
No questions. Thank you.
From the public staff?
No, Chair, thank you.
Okay. From the commissioners?
No questions.
Okay. Ms. Carter, I appreciate you being here this evening to testify, and we appreciate your testimony.
Thank you.
And Mr. McCoy, we're ready for the next witness.
Tracy Sexton.
Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
If you could please tell us your name and address.
Tracy Sexton, 453 Berman Clayton Road, Timberlake, North Carolina.
And can you tell us your electric service provider?
Vermont.
If you could please make your statement.
I am a concerned citizen. I am distressed that for decades Duke Energy has contributed to diseases and premature deaths of Personians. This includes unusually high rates of cancer and living near coal or gas plants also increases asthma and COPD. Please hear our pleas for our health and safety and deny this application. Duke has not had to bear the full economic costs associated with its pollution, and it does not pay hospital bills, pain and suffering damages to everyone they have harmed, nor does it pay for burial expenses. And I fear for Woodland Elementary students and staff in the pipeline blast zone. Methane gas as an energy source is not only volatile in its chemical composition, it is volatile in its price when compared to other energy sources. Has Duke updated its project cost for this plant with the Utilities Commission since its original estimate? You heard that from another testifier. What of the $1.304 billion difference in those two things that others have said that it would actually cost now? Are you writing Duke Energy a blank check that customers will be on the hook for paying for? Duke Energy is limiting how many renewable energy projects they build, despite the fact that renewables are more cost-effective than fossil fuels. I'm requesting that you require Duke Energy to provide a new cost analysis for this proposed gas plant, and I'm also requesting that you have them provide a cost analysis of a renewable sourced amount of energy equal to what they plan to produce at the Roxborough gas plant. This would include utility scale and rooftop solar paired with the battery storage. I also request that their figures be substantiated and verified by an independent, impartial third party. Third-party oversight by you and others is necessary because, as the city of Carborough's lawsuit is exposing, Duke Energy, as they quote, engaged in calculated deception campaigns, end of quote. From my perspective, they are half-hearted in offering rooftop solar incentives to their customers. At the beginning of the year, I heard an estimate that the first-come, first-served Duke Energy Power Payer program would shut down by June 2025 because they would have reached their limit. This is unconscionable. They should be required to have this program available to all their customers who desire to participate. Please stand for people and the planet and tell Duke Energy no for this permit. I asked Google, in the future, what will the role of energy providers be? AI's answer included embracing renewable energy and decarbonization with a focus on renewable sources, net zero transition, and investing in storage. 2, becoming integrated energy service providers. 3, leveraging technology. And 4, adapting to a changing energy landscape. Please note, fossil fuel was not part of AI's answer to moving forward into our energy future. Neither should it be ours. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions for the witness from DEP?
No questions, Chair. Thank you.
Any questions from NCEMC?
No questions. Thank you, Chair Kimmerer.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public staff?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
No questions.
No questions, Chair.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony. We appreciate you being here this evening.
Thank you.
Mr. McCoy, are there additional witnesses?
That was the last one.
Okay. So we have heard from all of the witnesses who are present this evening. We appreciate their testimony. And since there are no additional witnesses, I will conclude this public witness hearing and we will go off the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you.